Hello and welcome. Today is Wednesday, first day of November 2017. Welcome. My name is Derek. Let's take a look at this Bitcoin chart on the 1 minute time frame. Everything you do is within your own risk and own reward. But obviously, if you're in this cryptocurrency game, something you should know all about. But let's get real. If you're taking information from anybody on the internet, especially free information at that, and you happen to lose on it, well, then that's just what happens. But if you happen to win, well, you know what? That's what happens as well. So that's the whole point. On your own risk, own reward. Always understand what it is you're doing. Do as much information and research as you can. That's why I like doing this channel, to help people out within research and different points of education, because I just think that can be very beneficial. Let's take a look at these charts. Hourly time frame, continuously making nice legs higher, correcting within the band, and then pushing up further. So it just left this band on the 1 hour time frame, broke this level of resistance. So we'll now see how well this plays out as it continues forward. But this has obviously been very much a beautiful bullish ride. It's getting close, however, to that target that I've talked about. And it's actually at that lower end of it now at 66. Really up towards about now to the low 7,000s as an area where you could possibly see some resistance and maybe a little bit of price consolidation. And as I've been stating, if we don't get resistance where we're supposed to, and now we're supposed to, then look out, because there's going to be some massive gains. And of course, when I say we're supposed to now, it means in this area range from about 66 to about 72. So when we look at this on the short-term time frame, you're seeing, oh, it's breaking out on this point in here. Yeah, it's probably going to extend these gains as it moves forward onto the session. Now, if you move it to the alts, I don't know why the numbers are so big on the side, but they've been down for quite a bit. This is Ethereum Classic, which has just broken down by this support level, and it's more in towards this late level of resistance. And when these markets are going down so much, I'm getting very buy, where they've already started buying, but only a little bit, for the very reason that I'm going to want to have Bitcoins for when it tops. That is the price where I think it's going to top, so I can at least get into some altcoins bounce. There's still going to be a decent time before the SegWit, where I think there could be a decent bounce in the short term. And then I think even more intermediate long term after the SegWit. But it's been the case for practically every single one of these codes. Here's Ethereum breaking down below this key support level. And you think, okay, oh, it's hard to read this in here, but roughly around the 70. Just going to try to refresh my screen, see if that helps. Okay, so let's move on to say Dash. Are all in downtrends right now. Dash has just broken this support level, and now it's going to could test down towards this bottom level at 34. It's also had an okay move below this last breakdown, because this is the bottom in here. You have a rally close to the 18 average of lows. And now this is a fourth consecutive down day. Just a little break around here, where sometime soon you'd think, okay, it's going to bottom, and then at least maybe come back to this congestion area short term at around the 45 or so handle. On, say, something like NEO, we can see it's now breaking down below this support, maybe down towards 32, 33 is an area where it may go down towards. LITECOIN is also having that breakdown that I was talking about. I think it was around the 65 area is where I'll be looking for this one to have some potential support along the way. Just as a random small one, like say KOMODO. Let's move this onto the daily chart. Here's a situation of breaking it past this resistance. The 18 average slowly starting to rise. It's now came back down to the 18 average of lows. Basically, it's a must-hold spot. It's just because it came down sharply doesn't mean that it's time to go lower, and it has to, because if you can follow this through with any type of bull market behavior, then you would be doing what you like to see markets do, come back, the 18 average still rising and such. But I think if Bitcoin tops, I think you can go through all these different patterns. Okay, this is in a downtrend. Well, it's looking like Bitcoin could have another leg higher. So yeah, maybe these altcoins will have a leg lower within it. But if Bitcoin does happen to top, and there's a good chance that regardless of where the alternate currencies are, whether they've been down a lot, they went down more, or they're shy of where a key support level may be, that they could very easily all start to rise together within such. And the only reason why I have a small amount of alternate coins right now is just mainly that of a hedge against, of course, the fact of being wrong and Bitcoin not going up. See, what I've noticed several times with my bankroll, that if Bitcoin goes up, then I'll have less Bitcoins than maybe I had the day before. Maybe I'll have a 0.5% less in Bitcoin total, but my portfolio will be up maybe 3% higher in dollar terms. And then when the opposite happens, when Bitcoin goes down, I'll notice, oh, I've got 2% update on my Bitcoin number, even though my portfolio went down because Bitcoin shot down 4% or whatnot. My portfolio, and I've noticed that I get the opposite. If my portfolio goes up in Bitcoin, it goes down in dollars. If it goes up in dollars, it goes down in Bitcoin. Now I'll finish this off again within the 1 minute time frame for Bitcoin. So we can see here that it's probably going to continue higher over 67 over the near term. Again, reach probably again in the 68 number. And I think it was around 68.88-ish area that cliff high of the Webbot talked about months ago, a couple months ago anyway, for the end of October. And we're only a day surpassed that level right now. So it'd be very, very interesting if that's the case. And I want to bring that up because when we take a look at this on a more longer term time frame, I'm going to put a trend line up. Okay. See if I can figure out how to draw them in here. So there we have it. The top of this trend line right now is in at 68, about 6,900-ish or so. Even 7,000, and then 7,000 for tomorrow. A little, maybe 7,050. So it's at this area of resistance. If it breaks it significantly, you're usually not going to hold it and you're going to have a harsh move back to the downside. But if that doesn't happen, then it's going to be a huge move. And that happened, of course, before when it broke this trend line. And there's even more towards it than that. Because on the break of this one in here, the thing shot up to a huge move of much larger rate of ascent. Because the rate of ascent was basically this gain here. Now the rate of ascent is much higher. So the likelihood it's going to increase the rate of ascent and be able to hold that, I could say laughable, but I guess anything's possible. It would be a web bot miss if that is the case. Because the most likely event on the extreme unlikely event of a break of resistance is that price action will reach close to $10,000 before Thanksgiving in the next 3 weeks. Now, granted, with that being stated, I did hear something about $10,000 prices roughly around Christmas time. And if I'm looking at a weekly term time frame, which of course I am, the amount of weeks that would take us to the end of the year now with 61 days, that would be 9 weeks, 9 periods. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, how many did it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This for here when it broke this resistance, 9 periods later. Well, 5 periods later, it went from 3,000 from the 1,400, so it doubled in that quick of a time. So yeah, when I said by Thanksgiving, that would probably be accurate. That if it breaks resistance, now normally though, it's going to probably have some sort of pullback. And just quickly looking at the charts, the last place which it came from was between 46 and 5,000. I think it's very dangerous at this time to be a large time buyer. When I say large time buyer, that means you're not scaling yourself in every so often. If you're buying like every month or whichever, then you're dollar cost averaging. But you're in a situation where you could very easily be buying and seeing the price action dip down close to 5,000 again, which at this stage would be a drop of 1,500 points on 65. You're looking at 25+%. But like I stated, it could just keep going up. And if you're thinking about it like you would back here, well, I'm buying on the way up at 2,700, 2,800. I don't care if it goes back down because it's going to go up higher in the long run. And those people that thought that back then, that just did nothing to their Bitcoin, well, they got some Bitcoin Cash if they were able to get that. They might get some Bitcoin Gold. They'll probably get some C2X soon. And they still have their Bitcoin worth much higher, even though short term they went for a small ride to the downside. But for now, I'm going to conclude this video. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.